planes.
Hey, good to see you guys. I'm really honored to be up here with the great Kevin Kelly, who is the founding editor of Wired magazine.
Yep.
You know, like me, Kevin has been around the block in new media since the 80s.
All right.
The term augmented reality usually gets credited to a scientist at Boeing named Thomas Caudell. In the early 90s, Caudell prototyped a heads-up, see-through head-mounted display that would let factory employees get information about aircraft overlaid on the actual planes.
AR is all about blending the physical world with the virtual.
Tech companies and pop culture spend a lot of time speculating about how AR glasses will change everyday life. You could replace your TV with a virtual screen, for instance, or hang out with a holographic friend in your living room, or see your entire world covered by invasive dystopian advertising.
I would consider this kind of like the third digital platform. The first digital platform being that moment when we digitized all information, and then you hyperlink it. And that was the web, that web of hyperlinks, and it made information machine readable. You could apply algorithms to the information, and so you could search through all information.
Amazon Mechanical Turks. Sounds quite space age. In 1769, Hungarian nobleman Wolfgang von Kempelen created a device that astonished Europe. He had seemed to have invented a machine that could play chess and beat everybody it challenged.
Then there was a second platform, which was taking humans and human relationships, and that social graph, which was the web of all the humans who are friends with each other, and that web was machine readable, so you could basically apply algorithms to humans for better or worse, human behaviors. And that was the second platform, Facebook and WeChat kind of owning that.
It was a wooden mannequin dressed in a fur robe and a turban, and the inventor called it a Turk, or a mechanical Turk. The truth behind his little game, of course, was actually that there was a chess master human hidden away behind the scenes, working all the cogs and gears and ultimately winning the games.
And the third platform, which is what we're making with Mirror Worlds, was basically you're going to digitize the rest of the world, the real world. You're going to basically scan everything, including objects, and put it into that world. And to complete this little story, this is the world that computers and AI see. So when the car is driving down the road, self-driving car is going down the road, it's driving through this world.
There are many crowd worker websites and services out there, but I think that Amazon's MTurk, or Mechanical Turk, is one of the best known. And the purpose behind it is simple. There are a lot of tasks out there in the world that machines simply can't do yet, or may never be able to do, and these are dubbed human intelligence tasks. Since human intelligence actually was the solution to this 1700s chess-playing machine, hence the name.
Hello everyone, I'm Ranjit Kagati. I'm a tech lead in AR Core, mainly focusing on augmented faces part of the SDK. We want to make sure this solution works for everyone. So we train the network with geographically diverse data sets so that it works for all types of faces, wider faces, taller faces, and all types of skin colors.
We knew we needed to collect a data set that has far more images than we have ever had before, perhaps thousands of times more. And together with Professor Kylie at Princeton University, we launched the ImageNet project in 2007.
Human intelligence tasks like these are one of the biggest bottlenecks to AI and machine learning advancement and all technological advancement, because there's simply so many things that machines just can't do yet.
Luckily, we didn't have to mount a camera on our head and wait for many years. We went to the internet, the biggest treasure trove of pictures that humans have ever created. We downloaded nearly 1 billion images and used the crowdsourcing technology like Amazon Mechanical Turk platform to help us to label these images. At its peak, ImageNet was one of the biggest employers of the Amazon Mechanical Turk workers. Together, almost 50,000 workers from 167 countries around the world helped us to clean, sort, and label nearly 1 billion candidate images.
And I believe that it would essentially show one of these images in its database, or rather the thumbnail of the images in its database, to a user or a worker on MTurk. It would ask them to categorize this image. It's another one of those weird fake jobs in the gig economy that, yes, you can make real money off it, but is it enough to be paying you fairly? One study showed that the average MTurk worker would earn an average of $2 an hour. Obviously, if you play the game long enough, you get better and better, you might be able to access and unlock higher earnings. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see more videos on Ginger. I've been Becky. Take care.
Okay, so I'm going. My name is Michael. Yeah, that's my name. I live in New Jersey, and for a living, I'm what's considered an independent contractor.
I'm Jessica. I live in Alabama in the United States. For a living right now, I go to school full-time. I study sociology and Spanish.
So my name is Jordan Lardani. Where do you live? I live in Pennsylvania, Eastern PA, probably half an hour from Philadelphia, in a town called Kennett Square.
I'm Melissa. I live in the Bronx, in New York City, state of New York, United States of America.
I do various tasks online, such as on websites such as Mechanical Turk.
So I have a business on eBay, is the way that I make the majority of my income, just through selling antiques or just anything I can really make a profit off of.
And my parents do pay my rent. I'm very fortunate in that. So I do MTurk to make up for just little things that I want to buy, going out to eat, stuff like that.
Who are you? Portia. I live in California, in my 30s, have a bachelor's degree.
I make about $250 a week usually. So yeah, it's more than enough to cover everything. I am satisfied with that.
My name is Kelly. I live in New Jersey. I work on MTurk for a living.
What do you do for a living? I work in sales for Hewlett Packard Computer Company, selling computers of all nature and printers as well as accessories to customers in retail stores.
I work as an editor. I work on Mechanical Turk. I work on other micro tasking platforms, and I do work with a not-for-profit organization giving election information to voters. That's more a seasonal thing. That's around the time of elections, general elections, primaries, and so on.
I currently make, I would say, around $60 to $70 a week on Mechanical Turk.
A lot of fountain pens, pocket knives, lighters, things like that, small things I can ship. And then I also do Amazon Mechanical Turk on the side and some landscaping and things like that.
I am Wajit. I live in Hyderabad, India. I work as an IT analyst as a full-timer and work on MTurk as a part-timer.
Am I satisfied with that? I would have to say that I'm not very satisfied with that. I used to make more money on here, but I don't make as much money as I used to.
I make about, well, it varies, but I do make from Mechanical Turk somewhere ranging from about $800 to $1,100, $1,200 a month.
So it depends how much time I put in. I've been trying to wake up earlier so I can use it to supplement my income, especially around Christmas time.
I don't mind working on Mechanical Turk. Some of the tasks can be somewhat interesting.
But normally around $200 to $300 a week. It fluctuates up on a better week and sometimes a little less. I normally can make around that on average at least.
I make around $5 per day on Amazon Mechanical Turk. Yes, I'm very satisfied with that because it provides me the extra income.
Am I satisfied with that? No. I mean, I'm not wealthy, which is fine, but I would like to live a little less paycheck to paycheck. I'd like to have money for some luxuries here and there.
I can set my own hours and I don't have to answer to a boss. I don't have to like stand around. I have a chronic illness where if I like stand around too much, it just really affects me. Like I feel like I'm gonna pass out.
I make probably about 12 to $1,300 a month on MTurk. I'm not satisfied with that because I work a lot of hours a week, probably like 50, 60 hours a week to make that. So it's way below minimum wage.
How much money do you make off MTurk? Depends on how much time I have, which is usually depends on what day it is. So let's just say monthly wise, I'll make around like $400 or $500. I'm pretty much satisfied with that. Yes.
I do like working on MTurk, yes. I just wish the pay was better.
I have done image classification hits. I've done hits in which I had to classify images as, is it a park? Is it a stadium? Is it a, things like that, different kind of venues.
Sidewalks and streets in various towns and cities, and then I just had to classify whether or not there are people in them, and then draw a box around them, stuff like that.
How clear they are, and based on the color and based on the if they are animals or living things, etc.
I've had to categorize all kinds of images. I mean, there have been gory pictures, there have been pornographic pictures, but there's always a warning before that there's going to be, well, there usually is.
If so, what kind of images did you classify? All types of different images. I mean, a lot of them would just be for groups, like it doesn't have an animal in it, or what are the people doing, or is there a girl in the photo? So usually just pretty simple questions.
Based on what kind of animal was in a picture. I've done ones where I have to classify people based on their gender.
The most recent one, I was classifying pictures of heroin, and it was like, was it a good picture, and was it easily identifiable as heroin? So that was interesting. I've done other ones, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. But that one was a memorable one.
I've also I've done hits in which we were doing it from a viewpoint of a car, and you had to see whether a pedestrian was likely to cross in front of where you were driving. And that's all I can think of right offhand. I have a feeling there's something else I'm leaving out.
I've done medical, I think cars, um, furniture, all kind of stuff. I've been doing this for a while, maybe 30, $2,000 off Mechanical Turk.
Possibly companies. I know some companies use satellite imagery and they're trying to train computers to recognize certain things in satellite images so they don't have to use people to recognize those things.
At times, did I know who was working? No, I have never recognized the names of the requesters as names of companies or individuals that I'm familiar with.
I don't even know who uses this. I would think just like a company trying to keep tabs on maybe products. I don't know. It's an interesting question. I'm interested to know who is using it.
I suspect one of them had to do with autonomous cars because it was a lot about, do you think the pedestrian sees you? Do you see them? Oh, one other thing. I had a hit again where you're from the viewpoint of the driver and you're supposed to say what kind of weather it is and what time of day it is and what kind of road you're on.
I am Anna Galloway, and I live in Central Florida. Right now, I don't do anything for a living. Sometimes I work on Amazon MTurk. I have a film degree, but I have been unable to pursue that because of a severe anxiety disorder and depression. It makes it very hard for me to hold down a job. I make very little off of MTurk. Say maybe $10 a day, maybe $4 a day sometimes. Um, it's not been terribly lucrative for me. No, I'm not satisfied with that. It's very hard to live off of that amount of money. Um, so I've had to classify people by their race, by their hair color, by their eye color.
And I think they were trying to train their artificial intelligence system to be able to recognize people better.
I usually don't have any idea who I'm working for. Sometimes it'll say like a university name or a company name, but usually it's kind of anonymous, and I don't know.
I know there's one hit that I don't work on, and I'm sure it's from either an insurance company or some sort of claims adjustment thing, or maybe it may be FEMA, but it has to do with identifying items that people have lost in floods, or not lost, but had damaged in natural disasters and so forth. And you've got to kind of say what the item is, classify it, and I guess that's to allow people to get reimbursed for the value of the things.
Do I know what kind of parties use image classification? No, I thought maybe it would be something like moderating image boards or something, like classifying images as containing nudity or violence or something like that, because I have done ones like that. So that would be my first guess. Also, maybe something like programming AI to like recognize things. I don't know. That would be my best guess.
I really have no idea, to be honest. I would assume it's for AI purposes, just like when I like record my voice and things like that. I know that's for AI, or like the Siri and the Alexa and things like that.
Right. So, as I said, self driving cars, absolutely no question in my mind that I've done stuff for those folks. I know there's a lot of stuff out there for some of the big universities. I think one of them's MIT that's doing stuff to train AIs with pictures of things in different settings, and explaining where the settings are.
I'm Jason Edwards. I live in Mims, Florida, United States. I have a few websites, Amazon, eBay, do a bunch of surveys. Okay, how much money do you make off MTurk? I don't know, 1,500 a month, 2,000. Do you like working on Mechanical Turk? Yeah, definitely. I got a bunch of other, but nothing can take MTurk's place.
Do you know what kind of parties are using image classification and what they use it for? No, I'm not sure about the parties or about the classification that they use.
And did you have any idea who you were working for? Huh. I usually don't pay much attention. I just assume it's a university. Would it be the internet image classification for like alt tags for images on the web? Like descriptive tags? How do you feel about contributing or having contributed to these technologies? Um, I love it. I mean, I've been using the internet since the internet was born. My dad bought me a computer, IBM PS2 486DX. It used to take hours to download anything.
I am a mechanical worker. My name is Jane. I currently live in the United States, in Colorado. What do I do for a living? I enter data at a large company here in the area. I don't make much money off of MTurk despite using MTurk for almost 5 years now. I make about $10 a day. If I'm really lucky, it's usually about $5 a day.
There's a lot of concern about what AI and robotics are going to mean for our future. But there's also a lot of hope for what it's going to mean. So I think it is important work to contribute to those things. And I don't think they pay us enough for it. But I also recognize that you need millions, billions of images classified to help train the AI, especially when it's something as important as, self-driving cars being able to recognize a pedestrian or something like that.
Well, I mean, I feel proud for having contributed to these technologies. I mean, my partner always jokes with me because I do a lot of things with voice recording, and this does not have to do with that, but it's sort of related with recording for things like digital assistants and appliances and things like that. And she says to me, "Oh, you're part of the algorithm." I like being part of the algorithm. I do. I like advancing technology and advancing civilization. Um, I don't feel adequately compensated necessarily for the contribution I'm making.
I think it's really cool. I don't mind. They pay me for it. I don't feel like any of my personal information is out there. Yeah, and it kind of allows me to understand how the systems work a little more. So I'm all for it.
I mean, I guess it's cool that I like had a hand in the start of like, you know, the AI time.
Image classification hits are used by big tech companies and universities to create data sets that are used to train image recognition software and computer vision. These parties download big amounts of images from the internet from sites like Flickr or Google Image Search to get their images. Image recognition software and computer vision is used for things like augmented reality and self-driving cars.
So I'm just kind of reading through this. They're being used by big tech companies and universities to create data sets that use to train image recognition software like Flickr, Google image searches. It makes sense. It's not anything new for me. I'm getting my master's in data science, so this isn't a new concept. I'm not concerned about it.
I think it's okay for companies and universities to just download images off Google search because we all do that. I mean, I don't think it's illegal, so I don't think there's really a problem.
Yes, it's perfectly okay for anyone to download any images as long as they do not have copyright issues. I think you can download it, you can share it with others, you can do research.
Once you put your image up there on the internet, you put it out there, no, nobody else can use that image to make money off of it. However, I think teaching AI is not quite the same thing. That's research purposes.
There's a lot of Photoshop that goes on there. I think universities and studies and companies should really take pictures on their own instead of searching for stuff on Google because you don't know what's been altered. You don't know if that's a really true data set. I would want to know that somebody from my project or team is going out and taking a picture of this bridge. I know it's a bridge. I can look at it. I can stare at it. It's a bridge. So, I mean, I think you risk your own study results if you don't want to go out and do the work yourself. So, I mean, it's up to you. Do you want good results?
Do you think it's okay that these big companies and universities pay 1 or a few cents per, a few cents add up. I've turned pennies into $100 a day many times.
Do I think it's okay for them to pay me so little? Well, when I think about how many images they need to process to teach the AI, and they're paying me a penny for an image, no, I feel like I'm being underpaid, but at the same time, that would cost them quite a lot of money to teach the AI using people. I think they could probably stand to pay a little bit more, and then it would be more fair because, we are working, we are contributing to their project, and it would be nice to be fairly compensated for that.
When you do these hits that are like 1 cent is like not good, but like 3 cents, and if you're doing it over and over for a while, like it does add up because you complete them very quickly. But it still doesn't come out to a very high wage. Like, I don't think it even hits like a $15 minimum wage, which should be like a living wage, I guess.
Sometimes they pay really low. I don't really do the jobs where they pay really low, I try to make sure that the requesters are going to pay a good wage before I do the job.
Do you think it's okay that these big companies and universities pay 1 or a few cents per picture? No, I think you're out of your mind. Bye-bye. I don't even touch your hits at that point.
I think it's okay, but I think they could do better.
No, I don't think that that's okay. I don't think that underpaying people is okay. If it's worth the work, I mean, if it's worth only 5 cents for me to just select if a picture contains nudity or not, then yeah, it's fair because it's fair pay. But if it's not fair pay, then it's not okay.
Do you think artificial intelligence that uses image recognition software can take over human jobs in the future? Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's limited to an extent.
I think that the artificial intelligence that uses image recognition software could take off over some human jobs in the future. Um, but I think they can only do it at the initial level and on the superficial level. And there's got to be some sort of fine grained human input to it to really distinguish things on a very fine level.
I don't see robots, androids, or AI completely taking over without human supervision for a long time. But there are things that I'm definitely hoping that robots and AI will be able to do in the future. Like, I have a lot of relatives who are needing nursing home care right now, and it's hard to find people who are affordable but also will attend to their needs properly and take care of them and can be trusted.
I think there are things that AIs are not going to understand that people can. What kind of things could they do? General blocking of movements of autonomous cars, general sorting of pictures for, I don't know, for what? For stock photo libraries, perhaps? But again, it's going to need someone to make the really fine distinctions.
Nobody has made me think it's not going to be like that. They try to develop so much more technology to make it easier for people and not have to pay people as much. So I do think that this type of stuff in the future will take over so many people's jobs.
And as long as you still have humans there to assist and to be human contact for those people, because you don't just want to hand your grandfather over to a robot and say, bye, granddad, enjoy the company of this robot.
And the jobs that it could never, ever take over, in my opinion, are ones that require the verification of whether or not an object is actually there or not. Because artificial intelligence would have to be perfect for it to be able to differentiate whether or not a certain object is actually that object or not. And for that, it would require an extremely high accuracy. And it would still require a verification process of some sort, which requires a human like me.
I look forward to those things maybe in my future when I'm, elderly, would love to have that as an option. I think that'll be good for everybody. But, as far as jobs that they can't do, I think you'll still need the human and emotional contact there. So I think they could not 100% take over the human role in a case like that. It's hard to think. I can't think of anything that an AI could never, ever potentially do.
If a computer recognizes a person for someone they are not, or an object for something it's not, that's the fault of whoever programmed the computer. But, I mean, it's something that is bound to happen and you're just going to have to fix.
If a computer recognizes a person for someone they are not, or an object for something they are not, it's the programmer, it's the company, it's the humans involved who are responsible. A computer is a machine. It's only as good as the people who tell it what to do.
Well, it would be the responsibility of the company who put out that AI. They're responsible for making sure that their product works. So if they're causing harm to people by their product malfunctioning, then that's their problem.
The blame should go to the developer and the software, and as we know, computers can make errors as well.
The person who created the machine learning module, that's who's responsible. It's your responsibility to make sure your algorithm works as a data scientist, as a data science major. You are, the person is. You have to constantly train that thing and retrain that thing and make sure it's in an accurate state.
Do you think we can classify and categorize everything and everyone in the world? No, the world is changing too much for people to be put in a box or into one thing.
Yeah. If you break down enough categories to classify them into.
Absolutely not. There's got to be some uniqueness left in this world.
It depends what kind of categories. I mean, yes and, well, it depends on the category. Like, yeah, I can classify something as a cat or a dog, but to say something is good or bad, like, it depends if it's in an objective or subjective category, you know? So, yes for some things and no for some things. Are there things you as a person would not like to be sorted on? Well, yeah, like I said, like, subjective things I would not like to be categorized on. I would not like to be labeled, a bad person or a criminal or something like that.
If you're talking like race or sex or, weight or beauty, yeah, I'd probably not like to be sorted on how attractive I am. That would probably be kind of, unpleasant.
I wouldn't be mind being labeled something like Caucasian or female, but yeah, not something subjective.
Are these things you, as a person, would not like to be sorted on? I really have no problem whatsoever being part of like AI research. I think it's actually kind of cool. I don't feel like any of my privacy is being put out there, and even if it was, I'm not a very private person, so.
I would not like people to be sorted on their race and gender, but those are the first things we sort people on. We sort and judge people on those things all the time, on their weight, on their education level, some things are obviously not physical and visible.
Do you know what augmented reality is? And if so, what do you think of it? I think it's neat. Like, what was it? Pokemon Go, when that came out? It was crazy to see the whole town out and about holding their phones.
What do you think of augmented reality? It depends on what you're using it for. The virtual reality games are great. Augmented reality for training is really great. We could use some sort of training module and hands-on interactive for that. I'm mostly positive about it.
Do you know what augmented reality is? I'm very excited by the idea. I was somewhat familiar with the Google Glass thing that didn't quite get off the ground. I think of the trip I took to Europe when I was a teenager and how neat it would have been to have a smartphone back then.
Augmented reality, I think I know what it is because I know, like, on my Nintendo 3DS, there's this game that you play where it's augmented reality and you put these cards down and it, like, shows up, like, it's kind of like holograms, but you see them through the screen.
And hold that phone up to a monument that was just like randomly in the street. Like there was so much there, you know, a fountain, and you're wondering how old was this fountain? Who designed it? Where is it from? And we're talking in some little village. It's not like it's, you know, a well-known thing. So to hold up my phone and in that area and have some app or something tell me, oh, this is from X time period. It was designed as this. This is what it means. That would have been amazing.
What things do you think AR glasses could be used for? What apps could there be? I think training is a good one. Putting yourself in the shoes of somebody else. Our company actually has a really good video of putting on glasses, and when looking at people, you can kind of see like a blurb next to them that shows what they're thinking about or what might have just happened to them or why they might be here. I think that's incredibly powerful for putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. I think the possibilities are really endless, but I would like to see it more in an educational space.
So as far as, you know, things like that, I think augmented reality is an amazing idea. I think it can teach us so much about the world around us.
AR glasses are amazing. I don't have them, but have seen a lot of videos about AR glasses, and I think they are the next gen technology.
Would you like to own of AR glasses in the future? Potentially. I mean, I don't care either way. I'm not really big into consumerism and having to have everything personally. It just depends what I need it. Am I going to use it? What kind of permissions does it has? Is it more like an Alexa? Because if it is and it can record my voice and stuff, no, thank you.
Yes, I would like to own an AR glasses in future or immediately if I get an opportunity.
And would I like to own a self-driving car? Sure, because I don't have a driver's license. So maybe the car could drive for me.
I like driving myself.
No, not really. I just don't like the idea of, you know, a car driving itself. I feel like the technology's just not there yet.
And not really into like if it'd be electric. That's kind of pussy.
But I was recently in an accident this year where somebody rear-ended me, and I've suffered a lot of pain and debilitation and injuries and had to have medical procedures and all this as a result of that.
I'd probably wait a couple years to make sure like all the problems were hashed out. I just wouldn't want to be like the example of it going wrong. So I'd rather just drive my own car until I feel like it was trusted.
And the fact is, people have car accidents all the time. People are so prone to human error. You know, being the only source of human error, humans.
It's not there yet, and I don't want to be the only self-driving car on the road while there's other people. Like, I feel like the only way that self-driving cars are going to work is if all the cars are self-driving.
I want manual always. I need to be at least in a little bit of control, so.
I started thinking, you know, maybe self-driving cars are actually a great idea because I'm scared of people on the road now. It's terrifying when you think about it. and I'm one of the lucky ones.
My dream job? It would be if all my affiliate marketing websites were to pick up. If I could live off of just that, 100% passive income.
My dream job, though, is not in sales, not in MTurk. It's actually in the entertainment business. My bachelor's in theater, so I want to do more acting in the future.
My dream job would be to be a social worker.
My dream job would be working on documentaries on a variety of topics, getting to travel while doing it, getting to do photography on that. That's definitely my dream job.
I think it would be tracking down criminals digitally for the FBI. I don't think I'd want to work for the government any point in time soon, but I would love to have those digital skills that would get me there.
My dream job would be to start my own business and run it successfully.
My dream job would probably be something in like the art field. I think that would be a lot of fun, like sculpting or something.
What would be my dream job? My dream job would be if I could find that novel that everybody's supposed to have in me, and write a novel and actually make a living from it, which is about impossible.
Probably to be an athlete. I mean, I played football in my life. I wanted to continue to play, but I kind of lost my passion for it. I still like football, but I want to pursue something else. Right now I'm doing boxing.
Maybe working as a pilot.
I'm not sure if I'm going to pursue it professionally, but I just kind of need that competitive type of thing in my life.
I've often said if I could go back to school and get another degree, I'd be a cultural anthropologist, and I'd go around collecting jokes and stories and analyzing them and compiling them. That would probably be the greatest dream.
It's late at night, so I'm hiding in the bathroom while ladies asleep.
Okay, so I am going to save this video now, and I'm going to stop my camera, and thank you very much.